Hey there everyone, my name is Rocky Shepnel from the Guys of the Games, back with some more D2R Randomizer. Man, I tried to be really official there for some reason. Hooey, hopefully, what would be the split off point for this chapter? I guess it'll probably be, probably, oh, that's kind of funny. I get the cube so I can talk to him and get the quest early. I guess probably I'll go up to the maggot lair. That sounds about right. Because I was gonna say, like, you can, Claw Viper Temple, but that's pretty far. Because after you do the Claw Viper Temple, it's only really a couple areas left. It's just the cellar and the sanctuary, which are like, potentially, if I got lucky, the sanctuary could be really short. Let me see. What level am I right now? I'm 17. What level is for the old stabby stick here? 19, but it needs 113 strength. I have no idea. That might actually might be a little longer a ways than I think it is. Unfortunately, because that is a lot. But I mean, I can look for a stabby stick in here, I guess. 25% increased attack speed, and wow, that's kind of nutty. That was like an actual good weapon. Just kind of the rub, ain't it? The base damage of that stick ain't so good. I guess I'll do the sewer. I mean, there's no reason not to do the sewers, right? Like, I was just thinking, like, oh, I don't have to. It's like...
Greetings.
I'm looking here for a sec. I'm finding a lot of triple sockets. The problem is there's not really a lot of stuff I feel like I could just be like tee-hee or whatnot. I guess I should look for spears, right? You know, I love bringing up that obscure mechanic is that one-handed weapons are actually twice as strong for mercs. As like a balancing thing. Because otherwise you would just always give them two-handed weapons. But no, one-handed weapons actually get a little boost. So technically, if I found something that was like really strong one-handed spear, it would be really nice. It only doubles the actual like physical damage, although it also like double dips, because if you have a boost to minimum and maximum damage, that'll boost the damage on the weapon, and it'll also get boosted by the one-handed work. So it like double dips, where it's like both of them get boosted separately. Anyways. Oh yeah, I guess I should summon all my dudes. Sage. Oops. How did I click that and it didn't pop? It's because I clicked it too fast? That was weird. Oh yeah, I have a Frost Nova for all that's worth, I guess. Can I use Frost Nova? You cannot cast Frost Nova while I'm a werewolf, unfortunately. Just slightly lame, but I understand. Alright, more. A lot of spike fists I'm noticing keep showing up in areas. Oh, so I didn't try on no pickup, did I? Because I keep mentioning how it's silly that that's not a quality of life option or something. Already a new thing, eh? Let's just go back this way. So the sewer, level 2. There, yeah, I sort of figured. It's almost always right near that little sewer grate. Like, if you go there and it's not, like, basically if it's not right by the entrance by the, by the ocean, it'll be like in the top left somewhere. It's pretty much the only place it'll be. Hey, thorn beasts. I wonder if I'll run into any bush barbs. I'm not even sure if they're called that. If their actual name string gets used, because bush barb is like an unused coal rat for Act 3, like they're meant to be somewhere in the jungles. They're internally called bush barbs, but I think their name actually isn't that anymore. It's like something else. Like it got changed, but they're unused, so it got changed for not. There's a lot of like random monsters like that. They are unique because I think they have their own palette. There's a couple of monsters like that too. Like these night marauders, they're translucent. I don't even remember if these ones are unused or not, though. That's the funny thing. I've worked with my enough mods over the years, and like I work on my own mod of this game that does use them. But I don't remember if I added them or if I just moved them or somewhere. I'm pretty sure they're unused, but I could just be stupid, so you know. It is what it is, right? Alright, yeah. I mean, the Nightmares are a really cool recolor, because the fact that they're actually, like, see-through is, like, kind of a cool thing for them. Like, they're, like, one of the very few dudes that get that. I can't think of any other random monster that gets that. Like, iron golems can be translucent. For whatever reason, they decide to also do that with iron golems, where if you transform them using a ethereal item, they also get that effect, which is really cool. Now, like, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that actually gets, like, just a see-through effect. Off the top of my head, I think there's also one of the, like, I think it's the, yeah, it must be the dudes from Act 5 that impregnate monsters when they spawn the little gut worms out of, like, a dead monster. I think they're also, that actually might not be true. That might be something else, because I think they're see-through, but that might not be true. It might be that they're just glowy. You know, they got that mad tune-up, right? I don't even know what I mean, but... Alright. Oh, good timing, too. Let's see. Some lightning damage, hit recovery, poison, defense, exerting lightning resist. This doesn't really give me much else. The shape-shifting is nice, but... not really necessary. You know... there's so many affixes in the original game that are just like there's no rooms I can't look at now, but that thing had what, I forget what it's even called. Is it called the Vulpine? It's the one that gives you mana when you get hit. Wow, plus to skills axe? That'd be good if, and it has knockback and flee and blinds. This would be a good defensive axe, I think, for like a spellcaster, in a way. It's like something gets close to you, whack them, they run away blind, and then you can just keep spamming them. That's kind of cool. I like that. For just a random axe, it's even called Blade Bone, which for some reason makes me vaguely think of like more magic item. It's cool. Not using it, but it's cool. 15%. Hey, that's our first cold skill thing. It's the first time we've seen one of those. Oh yeah, this. I'll swap to an Act 2 Merc once I find something. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be as good, but I want something that, like, at least has good damage. Because this is too much to just swap out the rogue. You know what I mean? Hey, poison skill damage. I'm suddenly finding stuff. I was like, man, I'm not finding any of, like, the skill damage stuff. Lo and behold. All resistance is 25 and 30 to life. This gives a little more cold, but less everything else. So, probably not worth it. Yeah, because, like, stuff like this is neat. The charges, but not very useful. Because I can't give it to the Merc. He's not going to use it, unfortunately. That would be actually pretty cool. But, unfortunately, that's one of the few affixes that have pretty consistently been, like, pretty mediocre as, charges. And it's funny, because in Diablo 1, charges are, like, kind of like the GOAT, you know? You kind of really want a good charge skill. Especially because there's some skills that only appear as a charge on a weapon. Like, I forget which one it is off the top of my head. Is it Armageddon, or is that, like, in Hellfire only? Or is that Hellfire added as an actual skill book, and that in the vanilla game it's only as a charge on a weapon? Either way, that's the one I'm thinking of, I believe, where it's, like, really strong as, like, a charge on a staff. Which is, like, really nice, because I'm pretty sure charges, even in Diablo 1, don't cost magic or any mana, so you can just cast them. You got the feeders and the Stygian dolls. Stygian is one of those words that comes up a lot in this game. I forget what it actually means off the top of my head, though. It's a cool word. I feel like it's one of those words I've only ever really seen in this game, actually. But it is just a word. It's nothing special. Iraq. That kind of sounded like I like sneezed when I said that. It's kind of funny. Oh, I think there's our buddy. You can tell because he's resurrecting. And that means I have to just kind of whack them. Thank God I one-shot them. You know how miserable this when you fight oh God, I'm slowed. When you fight resurrecting monsters in this game, it's like you hope to God that you can either kill them fast enough or you can just get to the resurrecting. Because sometimes it's rough. It's almost like a pseudo like damage gate. Because if you can't out damage the thing, then you're kind of just SOL. You know what I mean? Also, that's a classic example. The dialogue showed up and he was still doing the effect. So it's like playing over the loud ass effect. That does not happen in the original. The original game waits for the effect to end. It's weird that the game, like, I wonder if that's because it loads faster or something like that. Like, it might just not even be on purpose. You know what I mean?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Although, mind you, it's not like, I don't know. This game isn't exactly, like, squeaky clean as a remake. There are a lot of weird things that are definitely bugs. Like, remember when Codemaster was suddenly bugged again after, like, 20 years of it not being bugged? Like those are wild times. I wonder how many people even remember that. So, I mean, I guess I might as well talk about it. You know me, I can't possibly bring something up without going into in-depth about it for no reason other than because I'm, you know, that kind of guy. So, the Sorceress is Cold Master, right? That's a skill that's existed for however long. Technically, she's the one that this gets brought up with all the time because, you know, she has the actual skill, but angelic. Do I have an angelic? Oh, here. Guess let's see what this does. But the Sorceress's Cold Mastery, right, is... Yeah, this is pretty meh. I keep getting off topic. The Sorceress's Cold Mastery, right, gives her cold piercing, right? So, like, what it really is just the cold pierce stat has this thing where it can't pierce immunities, right? So, like, if you have, like, even if you have, like, 10 trillion minus cold, like, whatever resistance, because cold resistance is the most common one because the sorceress has a skill that just gives her cold res, but there's plenty of other examples that, you know, there's plenty of, like, random items that can just give you, or I guess random uniques and rune words that can give you some amount of elemental pierce. I think there's a pierce for every element. There's technically one for magic, but it doesn't work because they never really implemented it. I'm just thinking, like, this actually like, the only reason I really need this is for the light mana steal, but this is just, like, this gives me 33 mana, so, like, you know what? And, like, 200 attack rating is a lot. I guess I'll keep this ring just in case I decide to change back, but, yeah. So, Cold Pierce, or, like, Elemental Pierce is a stat, right? There's a stat for each element, except for, I think, technically... No, Poison does too, yeah. Poison doesn't have, like, an Absorb because of, you know, it works differently, but, yeah. So, Pierce is a thing, and the way it works is it literally just reduces the resistances of whatever you hit by however much you have. It only works for you, so if you have, like, you know, whatever, however much you have, it only works for you. Nothing else that, like, nobody else, like, in your party gets it. Your merc doesn't get it. Sometimes it can be added on to a couple extra things, depending on how it works. Like, technically, you can give it to, like, you know, like, your pets and stuff if you mod the game. But by default, it doesn't work like that. But the key thing is that it doesn't pierce resistances that are, like, if resistances are high enough to make you immune, then it does not pierce. Holy moly, that's a +2 to skill shield, just straight up. That's kind of cool. I don't think that's worth getting rid of my, this thing, though, because a lot of my damage is coming from this combo. And 50 lightning res is a lot. But yeah, so Cold Pierce works like that. Because of the way it works, Cold Pierce is actually like super strong, especially against monsters that have like more resistance. Like once you get to like hell difficulty, like piercing is like insanely strong because it's just like if a monster has 50%, you know, resistance to something by default, then you know being able to pierce like even just like a bit of that makes a big difference, especially if you find a monster, you know, maybe is like cold enchanted but isn't actually immune. Like the more it's like with your resistances, right? The higher a monster's resistance is, the more valuable cold piercing is because it gets exponentially stronger. Just like your resistances get exponentially better as you have more resistance because it reduces more and more. Oops. I always forget that they have the shared stash. I think that the shared gold stash is weird because I think you only lose out of like one stash when you die. Which is like a weird thing. So like it makes dying and losing gold like pretty inconsequential. Jeez, what's all the plus skills all of a sudden? I guess it's the strength affix gives +2 to skills. That might be interesting if you run into something like, you know, is potentially like really strong. But I digress. So it doesn't pierce something that's immune though. Like that's the hard rule. But I think that when the game first released, it actually did work on monsters that were just immune. It worked like that for a while, and I think it was I want to say it was patch 1.7 changed that, where basically I think actually it was before that, like basically there was no like special stuff for immunities at all, basically. Like, you know, back in the day, immunities were actually pretty rare, even in hell difficulty, where really it was only on monsters that had particularly high resistance and had like a special enchant would be immune, basically. Wow, can I move anywhere?
Impossible.
I guess I'm going back. I took 2 steps and found 1 billion items. This is why my last, like, the combined length of, you know, my 2 episodes for Act 1 was almost 3 hours, and it's like when I did it my regular D2, and I think it was like half that, so it's like, geez, I'm spending so much time finding this stuff. Holy moly! That's some stats on there. The Diggler Dagger. What do I have? I also have another Diggler. This is item level 14. It's the same. Actually, no. So it has. Funny enough, the damage is just slightly more inconsistent, or it's more consistent on mine, I should say. Mine is just a little bit better. Yeah, so not gonna bother keeping that. Hand of Brock, though. Let me take a look at this. It's cool. The +1 to fire skills is nice, but you see, if it wasn't ethereal, I would totally use it. But as it is, like, I'm not gonna get much use out of it. It's like there's no point. I'm not gonna worry about it. But yeah, I keep getting off topic. So for a very long time, or I guess it wasn't even necessarily a long time, for like a year or so, I believe that essentially there was no special interaction with immunities. So like if you had like like the Necromancer's lower resist, right, it would just work at full power even on a monster that had an immunity. But eventually, I'm pretty sure 1.7 changed this so that now cold, like natural, like piercing from like a stat does not work at all on an immune monster until they've been made not immune anymore, right? Which is how it's supposed to work to this day, basically. Right? They literally said we fixed it, so it doesn't work like that anymore. Holy moly, though, this thing blew up, and it's not even like a high level. That's nuts. 60% increased attack speed and enhanced damage? Like, that's a wicked item. It gives her even resistances. I guess I won't be getting rid of my Merc anytime soon. I have to find something to do that. Like, jeez. what was I saying? Fuck, why do I keep going off topic? I can't finish this, it's too long. Oh my god, I can't. This is basically they fixed it, quote unquote, to make it so you couldn't pierce until it was like actually like reduced below 100 anymore. And they also made it so that, well, actually, so for a little while, it was immunities simply could not be broken because of that. But I think like I don't remember if it was 1.8, 1.10, or if it was just like in the like. Eventually, even just within the same 1.7 patch, they changed this, where eventually that's when they finally made it so that, you know, reducing elemental resistances works the way it does now, where something like Conviction or Lower Resist now essentially works at just a fifth of the power it usually does when breaking an immunity, basically. So if someone has, you know, 100% physical resistance, then instead of, you know, amplified damage reducing that to 0, it just reduces it to 80, because normally amplify is, you know, 100% reduced physical resistance, but it's only a fifth, so it's only 20%. So the catch, of course, is that oh my god, the catch, of course, is that that means that when you reduce it to 80, then your natural immunity, or like your natural piercing, can now work at full power. So that means that, you know, resistance breaking on its own isn't super strong, but when you have natural, like, piercing on, like, a stat from, like, an item or something, all of a sudden your ability to pierce that, like, you know, if you have minus 50 to a resistance and that monster has 90 whatever resistance because of you broke it, that, like, gives you, like, quadruple or quintuple damage extra. Like, it's huge. And it worked like that for like 20 years, basically, I want to say, before eventually, at some point, there was a patch in D2R that actually, like, accidentally, I'm pretty sure, reverted it back. Where now piercing worked on a monster even if they had, you know, an immunity. And some people were like, well, you know, that doesn't need to change, you know, why not keep it? It makes more sense like that. And, like, it kind of does make more sense, because the skill description even kind of suggests that it works on monsters that are immune. But like, cold sorceresses are already like pretty much one of the strongest classes in the game, like pretty much second only to the Blessed Hammer dude, Blessed Hammer Paladin. And like, even the Blessed Hammer dude, like, the only reason he's like in contention at all is just because like it's a little awkward to use. But like, Blessed Hammer is mainly like the best one because there's so few magic immunes in the base game. Kalila? Oh, Kalila's shield. Well, I can check this out, I guess. Plague gives knockback, lightning resist. Freezes target is pretty cool, but I lose damage, I'm pretty sure, from that. That's, once again, that's where a lot of my damage is coming from. Just 34 cold damage is pretty useful right now, so no biggie. I should check this too. It's the same. So yeah, for a while they actually like accidentally reverted back, and people were being like, "Oh, you know, we should change that back," and it's like, or we shouldn't change that back. Rather, I keep doing that. And I mean, you know, that's up to you whether you actually think that's true or not. Like, maybe you like it better like that. But like, personally, I just think like it's just a case that if they wanted it to not be like that, you know, they had 20 years to change it back and they never did. So like, pretty obviously it was always intended to be like that. Or at the very least, they decided, you know, not having it like that would be kind of insane. Because it kind of makes cold sorceresses even better. They're already phenomenal, so they don't need more, you know. Especially because it's really just her that gets in any substantial amount, right? Because then a cold, like, elemental pierce you get on most weapons is usually not that high. Like, usually it's not higher than like 20% or like 25% on one item. So to suddenly have access to like, because with, you know, enough skills and stuff, she gets like, you know, more than like 100 cold pierce. It's like pretty ridiculous, actually. But I digress, you know. It is what it is. They did eventually fix it and revert it back to how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I get that 18, huh? Am I going to use Wolverine or Oak Sage? I usually just stick with Sage because it's easy to use and it's just nice survivability. Wolverine's nice too though, just because like, especially if you're an attacker. If you're a magic user, then you just want Sage. But if you're a, a shapeshifter, it can be worth it to get Wolverine. Extra damage and attack rating is nice. I guess I'll keep this for now. I'll keep this point for now because I'll probably put a point into Direwolf and into Fireclaws. Because having Fireclaws might be nice, because my damage has been a little lacking. Well, I shouldn't say it's been a little lacking. It's more just like, it's mainly been because all my damage is elemental, rather, I should say. Hey, it's Icenards, man. What a weapon. It's like the early game set that never really gets completed because one of the items, the shield, is like really rare for some reason. And you know what? As usual, as a kid, I was like, it was in my head, like, even though I was a normal, I was like, I gotta complete this set, and I'm a necromancer, so it doesn't make any sense, but I'm just like, I gotta complete this set. I refuse to continue on. I want that brandy stock, actually. Ugh. I need to check spears, right? If I find a good spear, I can get rid of my merc. Base file. Let's go up to 50. I got so much life right now, so I can't. Oh yeah, should probably actually ID the items, huh? Good morning. Cool item. Can't use it, so what's the point of looking at it? Fun fact. I just said good morning because Kane says that there's actually a bunch of unused stats that are basically just stats that would work depending on the time of day. So it's like, I think there's a stat that's like, boost to life during the nighttime or whatever, and stuff like that. There's a lot of stats actually like that, which is kind of interesting. I think they all actually mostly work too, which is the funny thing. Even though they never ever have ever been used, they do kind of work. For whatever reason, they all like kind of exist. It's kind of funny. Oh yeah, I leveled up, so I guess oh right, you need Feral Rage to put into Fireclaw. Shit! Well, I want Dire Wolf for sure. Because that's a nice thing to get. Oh yeah, I forgot they changed this, right? Yeah, I can have both wolves. Kind of a nice change. I'm not sure if I 100% agree with that, but it does make the synergies more effective, I guess. I guess I'll put a point into Feral Rage so I can get to Fireclaw's next level. Alright. Take a look at the brandy stock later. For now, we're just going to actually try to find the thing. I guess since I start with the cube, though, I don't actually have to go to the Halls of the Dead, which is nice. It's one area I can skip, so with the waypoint found, I don't really need to do anything there. Just sort of cheatsy. Oh yeah, I never talked to Atma. Well, it's no big deal. It is nice to talk to her, though, just because her reward is, everything's cheaper, which is kind of awesome. Bone Wand. I guess I'll keep that for money. I have actually been buying a lot of stuff, so. Screw you, Hey, look, more Stygian dudes. Sure are a lot of them. Yeah, I have a super high chance to hit right now because of all my stuff. Got another rare bow. Game really loves giving me. Wow, there's a lot of Act 5 dudes here. I say that, but the Stygian dudes are Act 4. At least not. Good old dung beetles. Dung beetles are such a fun enemy. I love that they're just always lightning enchanted. And yet still people love to see them because they give so much experience relative to everything else. It's like the devs knew they were tough enemies. Alright, I'm gonna just start running past stuff. I'll whack the dung soldiers. Are dung soldiers are used. For a second I was like, are dung soldiers unused? There's a lot of random palette swaps that are just unused. Because they just didn't have anywhere to put them, basically. It's actually kind of like a small handful. I mean, I've been talking about it. There's a small handful of enemies that are actually dumbing out after the fact, which is interesting to me. Like the warped shamans and stuff, where they used to actually show up in, I think, Act 3 somewhere. I said they showed up in the sewers, but I'm actually not sure about that, like I said. But after the expansion drop, they became only in Act 5. For some reason. They became one of the special monsters. Hey, Guardians on the surface. It's kind of funny. And they're with skeletons, so they are doing shit. Just kill them all, because fuck you guys. That is a lot of shit. Okay, we're gonna go back. Ugh. It's because, like, here's the thing. As soon as I pass up one item, it'll be something awesome. And I'm just, like, sitting there with my thumb up my ass. I would never know it. One Amazon skills, you know, bow that I just found. I think I have Catherine's already, but I'll take a quick look. Brandy stock. This is okay, but it's still definitely not as good as what she has right now. Look how much damage she's doing with this thing. I will put it in here now, just in case. Well, I say that, but this is so much better. Like, basically, I would need to make sure that they can actually use this. So I need to wait till I can get an Act 2 merc that has 100 strength, basically. Catherine's, yeah, there you go. If I found such a thing, I sure could. I guess since I'm actually here, I should actually check. Because I keep mentioning it, but it's like, well, what if they actually do already? Oof. My throat's actually kind of dry. I've been talking so much. Let me just... Ugh. Drink my drink. Can I see their stats in here? Oh, you can't? Huh. I just realized, so... If I go back to old game, huh. The remaster actually doesn't let you see their stats. You can see their costs and their skills, but you can't see their stats. That's interesting. They're not high enough level to use it anyways yet, so I'll wait. Might be a while before I can use it. Anyways, yeah, I'll talk to her. Here we go. Now we got our discount. Alright, let's pick up all this shit. Look at all this stuff. Maybe already going back. Alright, so in the Oasis, so we're gonna have to find that maggot lair. You know, it's funny, when you don't have to do the Halls of the Dead, Act 2 feels a lot shorter. So I feel like how the Halls of the Dead is kind of like the one big dungeon in like the first half. I'll run past this because the thing might be up here. I don't know. There's not much like like predictability with the maps in this. I do know that because you know the joke is that it's the Far Oasis. I do think that the thing usually appears. Beetle Burst, there's my buddy. Even in the randomizer, he always shows up near this thing. But the maggot lair usually I should say shows up near. I think it's in the middle of 4 ponds, like 4 little things of water. But that's not consistent, I don't think. Look at him slowly floating away from me. I guess I'll go up here for a sec. To double check. I can get my stamina back anyways. Alright. Man, remember when Diablo 1 had the freaking healing things that were just... You get 1 health per click, and so you just have to click it like freaking like 100 times to get your health back? Fun times. Hey, Zealots. I've already mentioned this, but Zealots are definitely one of those enemies that's really fun, since they are essentially One of the very few enemies that actually changes their behavior specifically based on your like quest progress. I actually wonder how that works in the randomizer. I wonder if after I finish, you finish the Black Temple quest in Act 3, do any zealots you see in like Act 4 and Act 5 just freak out anyways? Or is it only when they're in Act 3? Because there's the guest ones that can show up in Act 5 that don't freak out even after you've done the quest, obviously, but I think they do it because they just have different AI. I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong about that. There we go. I guess it's I'm here. I almost want to go to the Halls of the Dead just to get the waypoint, but no biggie. You got plenty of Tomb Raiding in the future because you got to do Tal Rasha and the Claw Viper Temple. Cleansing Oil when equipped. That's cool. And I have another Shadow Fang. I already have one though. This one looks worse because it's less damage. It's like just straight up. It has slightly more strength. That's it. Like who cares? Blood Thief. 100% chance to open wounds is cool, but it's worse than that rare one by a lot. So like, why would I ever not use that? 23 to 45 fire damage by itself, though. Ooh. But this gives me increased attack speed, which is kind of a big deal, because it, this synergizes really well with my shield combo, giving me extra cold damage. However, I will keep this. I'll keep these both. Those are kind of neat. Sure. Cathin's... I have a Cathin's thing. Let's see. Holy moly, that's a lot more damage, actually. What was I getting from Cyverbs? Well, Cyverbs is also giving me cold damage. But if I take this off, I can put this on. Actually, here, I can even do, because this gives me 86 attack rating and some stuff, but this is giving me, like, attack rating mana and regenerate mana, a bunch more cold damage. That kind of gives me a bit of a boost, actually, I think, because 73 to 215 versus, say... Yeah, that's a lot more, actually. Huh. Only thing is, now that means I have to find something to, like, kind of, like, replace that. Because the shield's not exactly great on its own. I guess I can just put this on. I mean, this gives me a cleansing aura, which reduces poison and curse. Has a high chance to block. Gives me a little bit of that mana steal I've been wanting. Magic damage reduced by 5 is actually pretty good this early on, so... Sure. Why not? And as for you guys, I mean, I'll just slap that on there, I guess. It's a good belt, so I guess I'll keep it. Oh, I forgot about this belt that has 100 damage on it. And yeah, I guess I'll keep this ring. Just in case, you never know. Of course, now that I've swapped out my shield for something not quite as insanely good because it doesn't combo with anything. The cleansing one is cool though, but I mean, now I can look around and just find another shield. I gotta say though, a lot of people don't even know this exists because not the game really tells you about this, but the armor weight system kind of sucks, if you ask me, because it doesn't feel very balanced. So if you don't know, there's like certain, like, armor actually can affect how fast you move, like, and there's like 3 classes. There's light, medium, and heavy, right? And it's basically just based on like what armor it is, essentially. And medium armor will slow you down, and heavy armor will slow you down even more. And it'll also make you use more stamina when you run, so you'll have to like stop moving more often, essentially, or you know, just guzzle down more potions, I guess. But it's one of those things that's like a lot of people don't even know it exists because the difference isn't that huge, and the game never actually tells you about this, so you wouldn't actually know unless you're actually like really paying attention to your movement speed. You might just think you're just seeing things, you're not really paying attention. But it's like kind of polarizing because like most of the best armors are like light armors anyways, and a lot of like the heavy armors aren't really particularly better than the light stuff anyways. So having a thing that just makes you go slower for not much of a gain is like kind of sucky. Like there's good heavy armor, but like there's a lot of stuff that just isn't. Like hell, all the paladin shields are lights, like automatically. Like they decided that was what they were doing. Oh, that's funny. I was wondering why that sound keeps popping. It keeps popping up because it keeps popping up when my guys teleport to me, which is kind of funny. Does cleansing give me health? I think that cleansing only gives health if I have prayer, right? That's how that works. I'm pretty sure that actually does properly like synergize. So if I found something that gave me a prayer aura, it would actually make me stronger, which is kind of funny. But it would make the cleansing aura like, give me more health. They like double dips, which is like a weird quirk. It's like if you give something with meditation to a prayer Act 2 merc, it'll actually like make his healing even stronger than usual. Because they'll both activate and synergize on each other. Which is kind of nice. Make him a decent combat healer. It's one of the many reasons why the Act 2 mercs are just really fucking good. I definitely do think, like, I think I've heard from some people, and I've always thought this too, that they really did get way too aura happy in the later game. In, like, with rune words and stuff in the expansion. Like, the rune words are, like, the freaking paladin's whole thing. Or the auras are his whole thing, right? So, it's weird that you can just get an item that gives you it. Like, yes, it'll never be as strong as his, but, like, you know, the funny thing is the paladin gets a huge benefit from it in some cases, because like for example, Dream gives lightning, so like because it works just like a normal lightning aura, right? He can synergize it with his own skills, and then use it with like conviction or something, which is actually like way better than just using Holy Shock normally. So it's like, well, shit, you know. Like literally one of the best builds for a paladin is just like double Dream to stack the auras to level 30 and then just run conviction with zeal for fast attack speed. And like you just eat stuff alive, you know. Like that's strong, you know. Oh, we can actually see the thing. Wow. Well, we gotta try to get over there then. Remember that it's always clockwise from where your thing is, so since it's top left, it'll be top right. Not that you need to know, because it's obviously right there. I'm kind of glad we're actually getting random enemies in here, because the maggot lair normally kind of sucks. Honestly, it's not even that it sucks because of the narrow quarters. I think it sucks because like beetles and maggots in close quarters are just really annoying to fight. Especially the beetles, because it's like they'll just shock you and you can't even really get away from it. You just have to single file line and get shocked over and over again by a bunch of beetles in a line. Sure, whatever. Alright, come on, let me up there. Don't you put another monster in the way. And then I always forget if it changes here. So it should be going to the bottom left, but it could be the top right. I always forget if it's clockwise for both or if it's counterclockwise for this one. Because, you know, I am the dummy. I always forget these things. Oh! Frozen Terrors. Overseer. Yeah, that's funny. Well, I guess if I'm going by that logic, I should try to go down. Get out of here, pig dudes. Freaking overseers. Doing your whips. Man, the enemy design in this game is so phenomenal. Like, really. Oh, God. Jeez. And, like, the remaster, like, I will say that the remaster, like, for what it is, like, it could have been... I don't think it's as good as it could have been, but, like, for what it is, like, I mean, what can you really expect? How could you ever hope to achieve, you know, how this looks? When you kill this dude and his skin blows off of him and he explodes in a shower of blood. And this is all just sprites. Like, this is... The game's so good like that. Like, I think it's all pre-rendered, so it's not like it's that impressive in terms of, like, the actual, like, sprite work, like, quality in that sense. But it's, like, the game just looks so good for what it is. I've always said that, like, Diablo 2 is definitely one of those games that just oozes aesthetic. We are going to, actually, in fact, since I'm talking about it, let's stay in classic graphics for a while.
Stay a while.
Here's another tiny thing that kind of bugs me. There's a teeny little gap between the portraits and the health bars, which I'm pretty sure that does not exist in the actual, like, old game. It's just part of the remastered stuff has it for some reason. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So this is increased attack speed. This is a little less, but this has 17 to 45 fire damage, along with some other stuff. This has the standard 25 to 75 cold and the crushing blow. And it also just has more damage. And it even has regenerate mana. I would be a little more leaned into cold, because this gives me fire damage and whatnot. Like, let me actually take a quick look-see-loo here. My max damage does go up a lot. And flails do have fast attack speed by natural enemies. And my physical damage actually goes up a fair bit too. So it's actually not that bad. Technically, I actually probably get more of Mana Steel because of that. Zams. Still have this sitting in the back just because I like the Holy Fire as an option. But yeah. Let me quickly just see. Sure. Let's go. Right. Sure, why not? Get out of here, Diggler. I'm getting rid of a unique for a rare, and that's kind of a fun thing to be able to do. Although I do have Fire Claws now, so the fact that I lose out in that fire damage doesn't even matter that much. Especially since I have Maul. I think I'm actually going to do this now. Actually, you know what? No, it makes more sense to put Maul here, put Fire Claws here then. That way I don't have to change anything. We'll have Flail. Like, especially that's a sprite-based game that actually went to the effort of making it so that there isn't, like, unique looking sprites for every piece of, like, distinct base armor. But there's a few. There's, like, I think there's, like, 3 tiers. It's, like, light, medium, heavy. And I think there's special ones for, like, weapons and shields. Like, they went to the effort of having... You can see that that actually is the spiked shield, right? Like, it's just thinking about that, like, that's a lot of work. Because they have to incorporate that into a bunch of different frames of animation to have it move. Because it's not like they can just... It's not a model, right? When it's at a different angle, that's just a completely different sprite, right? And but the thing is, I'm pretty sure they can reuse that for all the characters, so it's not that big a deal. But it's still, like, that's a lot of work, you know what I mean? It's still not nothing, right? Like, really, like, I really just don't say this now. The game just, it's such a good-looking game. It even has, like, a great lighting system. Like, everything has, like, everything gives off its own light. And, like, the lights can be different sizes, they can be different colors. You can see, like, because of all the poison stuff, everything here is kind of green. Like, there's just so many little cool things in this game, man. Like, what can you say? I'm gonna quickly go back to town before all my dudes die of poison.
Good day.
Not that I think it, man. I don't. In fact, I think no one was actually poisoned except for me, so it's kind of funny. But I digress. I should pick up the shields just because I technically don't have anything good right now, right? What time is it? I said I wasn't gonna do the Claw Viper Temple for now, but like, you know, how about this? We'll go get the waypoint for the Lost City, and then we'll call it a day.
It is an honor to serve you.
We have the Staff of Kings, and it's randomized too. I guess I'll put the sword in here for now. Like, I'm probably never gonna use this again, but you know, I might as well keep it for now at least. Freaking Icenheart's parry, man. We can make it nighttime. And even just that, like, this game has an actual day-night system. Like, that's wild to think about. Like, they even have stats that work with that day-night system. They just never used the stats because they didn't want to, I guess. They decided against it. Because Diablo 2 was originally a lot more roguelike, like Diablo 1 is. Oh god, it's cows. I mean, they kind of call attention to that because, you know, you have this Lost City quest that pops up that is essentially just showing off the fact that, yeah, we can just suddenly make it nighttime. Yeah, it's really telling about how ridiculous those freaking dumbass needle dudes are. That, like, my pets have been mostly fine, and then as soon as the needle dudes show up, they get, like, ganked by them because they do so much damage. Because they have that weird stacking thing that Fissure has, where if the more monsters it hits, it just like resets it and lets it hit more monsters again. So weird. Ah, Decrepify. Get out of here. Okay, let's get over here for a sec. Yeah, one of my wolves just died. It's unfortunate, but I can just summon him back. Sound like I just heard some falling. Oh, hey, we know Doublekins. Hey, guys. It's been a while since we've seen some fallen. I don't think they have a shaman with them in this area. Is that it? Yeah, that'll be it. I'm trying to think of something. I was gonna say that the fact that because you don't need a corpse to reanimate dudes, it's kind of like one of those things where that's not bad. Well, I say that, but it's just worse than this. Oh, I went to the wrong place to sell. That's funny. Hey, Icenheart's case. What do you know? And we got the Arctic bow. I don't have the other stuff though, so it's not particularly useful. 50 lightning damage on a socketed weapon. That's pretty sweet. If I find something, the thing is though, the only things that will have sockets are magic items and socketed items. Because sockets can only, I'm pretty sure sockets can't show up on rare items, but it might be that maybe like 2 sockets can show up on like later ones. I'm gonna sell this, yeah. I'll keep the set stuff though, because, you know, fun times and all that jazz. Sure, we actually got a nice art thing though. I mean, I might as well check it out, because if it's something cool, right? Cannot be frozen, that's good defense, I guess. This isn't anything special otherwise. I mean, I'm definitely losing damage over that. Cannot be frozen isn't a bad thing though. It's just that, like, it's not even, like, fast. It's just fast attack speed. It's not very fast like this is, so... Sorry, mate. Could be interesting to see this thing be good, though. I do find it funny they had to, like, redesign the chest for the remaster, because they wanted to make it bigger. I'm not sure I 100% agree with that. I think that the way it's handled is fine, but it's like it feels like, as people have complained about, having these different these different tabs, and the person, like, it feels like they like half committed, which kind of makes nobody happy, because some people like just having the limited inventory space in your stash of the original game, and then some people wanted you to just be able to have an unlimited stash space offline, but that doesn't exist either. So it's like this weird in between. It's like not quite. It's like almost like the worst of both worlds in some sense. Triple sockets. Huh. Oh wow. Fine Dirk of Nova. Not bad. Goes on like a better item. It's kind of a shame that most daggers in the vanilla game just aren't very good. Mostly because they just like don't tend to have very much damage. Like the idea is that they're supposed to be like super quick attack, right? Very fast attack speed. But then like there's a lot of random weapons that also just have kind of fast attack speed. Like hey, look, this is fast and it's not nearly as weak as this. Like this comes with 120% enhanced damage. And this pretty much equals it in damage, and it's fast to this being very fast, which like very fast is faster, but it's like, I don't know, you can see the difference, you know what I mean? Like that slightly boosted attack speed does not nearly compensate for how much weaker it is, basically. But I digress. That'll be it for this part. Let's show off the main menu, I guess, because why not? Hey, look at us. See you guys later. Actually, before it's like, look how sick that shit looks. It's actually awesome. There's no classic version of this either, is there? It's kind of funny. I do like the little close-up look. It's nice. It's funny because I think Diablo 3 does this, but I kind of like it better in this game. I don't know. Either way, but yeah, once again, see you guys later.